The children know that I work offshore, so they know that I work on a rig. They're not too knowledgeable about what I do. I don't think anybody is, not really, unless they've actually worked offshore. They tend to think that, oh, Dad's going away, got a bit peace and quiet, we can do what we want. We say goodbye to them and walk them to school, and then I spend the morning with Karen. Sometimes we'll pop uptown, just get odds and sods that I've forgotten, toothpaste and stuff. And then I'll say my goodbyes to Karen at dinner time and make my way down to the heliport, taxi.
Hey! Yeah, fucking Bible, fuck you!
The last day, you know, when you actually finish work, you get showered, shaved, you're ready to go off. But you don't actually kick in until that first chopper arrives. The first flight is normally drill crew, because their priority, you get them out on the rig first, which is the tool pusher, being Laidlaw, and the driller, and the roughnecks. And normally that's the crane op, which is Craig and myself, and the deck crew on the second chopper.
Right, gentlemen, just about to land at North Deans. Just keep your seatbelts fastened until we've landed. We'll be shutting down before you get out, so...
First, it ain't too bad. You sort of all turn up at the heliport and you sort of have a natter about what they've been doing while they're at home and everything else. As soon as you get on the chopper to come out, that's when the faces start dropping. That's when the mouths start opening, and then when you actually get here, the nightmare begins. Here we go again, same old shit. That's nothing changes. You can go off the rig for a month, you can go off the rig for 6 weeks. Your first day back on the rig is as if you haven't been away. They all come back to you so quickly. Somebody is now going home to see his family. He can do what he wants for 3 weeks. He can have a drink when he wants. He can do exactly what he wants. The other crew, they come on here. Ain't got nothing for 3 weeks other than sleep, eat, work.
I'm a crane operator, I'm a rousty pusher, which is in charge of extravats. I'm a HLO. Helicopter landing officer, it's classed as. To land in the helicopters, we get a manifest which tells us how many people is coming on the chopper, going off, what baggage he is, and what freight he is. You come on here and all you can see is water. And you're working with a lot of men, you're living with the men. There's a lot of stress built up in between the blokes if they don't get on. But a lot of them do get on because you have to get on. You get quite a lot of turnover of men that come offshore and they think they can handle it. And when they get here, after a few days they're homesick. They know you're out here for 3 weeks. And some people just can't take it.
We have about, at the moment, about 85 people on board the rig. Going down from myself, we have tool pushers who work a 12-hour shift each, and under them are the drillers. Then we have a barge captain that looks after the marine side of things, and under him work the crane operators, the roustabouts, the paint crews, maintenance crews. course, then we have the mechanics, electricians. We're just a contractor. We work for the oil company. We follow their orders and their objectives. They're trying to expand their business, you know, find more oil and gas, and we're just more or less working for a living. We get no more money for drilling a hole that's a dry hole than we do drilling one that's a producer. We have a meeting in the morning.
Keep the rest of it on the main day.
With the company man, myself, the tool pushers, all the service company personnel. We all meet and talk about what's going to happen that day, every morning and every evening.
The tool pushers supervises the drilling operations and deck operations on the rig, and I work directly under the Reading and Bates OIM, and we're both contracted to the contractor, which are Phillips, and I supervise basically the drilling operations.
If we've got gas or oil, it makes no difference to us. Every job is the same. We just drill from top to bottom. If there's gas there, fair enough. If there's oil there, fair enough. It makes no difference to people working on the rig.
Yeah, it's a lot of money that's gone to nothing. However, there's always some information to be gained from drilling a well. You get geological information even if you don't get a producing zone that will help pick another zone, you know, or where to place another well. You know, they cost a lot of money, but you always get something out of them.
600 or 800 barrels over and above.
The boat's got the zinc oxide on it, plus your 80 sacks of lime.
If the boat comes tomorrow, we can get that 800 barrels.
A big part of this job is logistics, you know, just getting the equipment out here to do what you need to do. Well, if they don't tell me, then I don't know. So I set up these meetings so that they can give us information, and we can pass it on and get the proper equipment out here.
We're drilling ahead quite rapidly. We're making about 74.
Now, sometimes we have disagreements on the way things should be done, but whatever it takes to get it done is what we do.
That's all we're done. Thank you very much.
Well founded in the oil business. Again, it's my grandfather, my father, and me, and my two brothers. And on my wife's side, it's her grandfather and father as well. So basically, we know oil, family life, you know, for lack of better terminology. We know how to deal with the oil field life.
So you're on one crew, you have a driller, derrickman, pump man, 3 roughnecks and assistant driller. That's what we call the drill crew. They work entirely around the drill floor. And then you have the logging department, and they've got their computers, etc., and they're also logging everything that's happening downhole.
In the shaker room, we have to collect samples of the formation that are coming over, the shakers itself. And these are taken on this well every 30 feet. So we can wash them and then analyse them to get an accurate picture of what is actually happening with the well and what formations we're drilling through. We do everything. Everything to do with paperwork and mud. All the geology.
We produce a document called a master log at the end of the well, which is the definitive document for the well. It's used to compare the well with other wells around. It shows the rate of drilling throughout the well. It shows the
geology as well.
The geology, the formations we've drilled through. It gives mud parameters. And that's probably...
It's basically to give a complete picture of what we've gone through, and hopefully work out what we've got there and what we're going to get from the well. That's about it.
The oil field environment on a rig, it's probably the only place left, the only type of industry where you actually have to work and eat and sleep and live on the same place for 24 hours a day for 3 weeks at a time.
got a gauge ring on that, and we'll see if we got a tape on it.
A lot of people get out here because they've heard so much about it, and then reality comes in. The food is not 5-star, the living is not 5-star, the work is not cushy. You know, they've got to work in the wind, rain, snow, hail. You know, that's not that easy. That's not everybody's cup of tea. If it's foggy, there's no choppers, so you don't get any newspapers, you lose contact. Your work really sort of covers half of your day. And by the time you've knocked off work and slept, you know, you don't really get that. The only time, you do think about them every day, but that's sort of awkward. You sort of look forward to your phone call. You know, I get a phone call once a week from Karen, and I phone her once a week. So that's like 2 phone calls in 1 week. And you know, on a Sunday, after I've spoken to her, I'm looking forward to the Wednesday, because that's when I speak to her again.
Mick is my assistant, and he deals with anything that I am too busy with, or when we have to use 2 cranes, he will be driving one crane and I'll be driving the other. Any equipment that we have to get ready for using on the boat or using on anything on board, we do it between us. He is there to help me and guide the men which is under me.
With the crane operator, between the 2 of us, we'll get all the deck cargo moved about, keep the place clean. If Craig's in Eton, then I'll get it for him. If I'm in Eton, Craig will get it for him. That's why you have an assistant. You know, we're on the go 12 hours. If he hasn't finished the job, you try to get it finished. The idea is if any job don't get finished, then it's handed over and it will get finished. You know, nothing is left unfinished. Shouldn't be.
Right, going down.
On a Jackup rig, you don't have that much room. So every time a boat come in, 9 times out of 10 you'll have to make space for it. And we move it about to get it in the best possible access places for it, you know. Casing material goes straight up near the rig floor on the cantilever. You know, tubulars like you've seen get cantilever on the main deck. Your cabin is, that's not actually personal because you're sharing it with 4 people. It's like sharing a flat. You know, everyone respect everybody's little bit of privacy. You know, if you've got photographs up around your bed space, and nobody touches them enough in there. That's your little area. You know, that's your own cabin. You feel a little bit more at home, other than swapping and changing about. If you end up going from one cabin to another, it doesn't feel the same.
On this sort of rig, a drilling rig, you know, it's not run for women. The blokes come out here to work, and that's what they do. A woman's work isn't out here. You know, the jobs we have to do, it's not suited for women, and a lot of people feel it isn't their place. They're just taking blokes' jobs out here.
Yeah, go ahead, Craig.
Yeah, as soon as I get this container down, I'm going to start putting the...
Officially, I'm the materials supervisor. The responsibility, first of all, starts when a boat arrives. And before a lift comes off the boat, I must check all the certification for the lifts to make sure that they are in date and that it's safe to take these lifts off the boat. I then have to check the equipment itself to make sure that what it says on the manifest is what's arrived. So I physically go around the deck, check that the equipment is there, check out the serial numbers, and then check against the certification. Then has to be entered on an inventory that we keep, a daily inventory, so that we know exactly what we've got in the rig at any particular time.
You didn't put 2650, did you? Oh, and I rubbed it off because I want to keep it for protectors for backloading. Thanks for your help. If you get the ETA from them, and if you ask them for any ROB figures, and can you make sure that goes down with the last lift in case they think there's nothing else to come?
Pat is a materials control person which sorts out the manifests and the cargo. Anything what's got to be backloaded must go through Pat. She'll tell us what to put containers, what to get ready to go on the boat. She'll manifest what's inside of the containers for the customs and for the captain of the vessel. Pat has got like a paperwork job, but it must be very awkward, you know, even with the language, and blokes get used to being with blokes, and at first they might look and think, oh, there's a woman on board, and after then they just treat her as a bloke. It's up to her whether she takes the huff and you know, gets upset what people are saying, or whether they're swearing. She understands. She's worked offshore quite a long time.
My husband works offshore as well, so that is a bit of a problem, because he works 2 weeks away and 2 weeks at home, and I work 3 weeks away and 3 weeks at home, so we don't see each other very often. You know, maybe 1 week we're home together, the next time it's 2 weeks we're home together, and the next time we don't see each other for 5 weeks. So really, the time I'm home, I've got a lot of catching up to do with cleaning and cooking and housework. It's difficult.
Basically, my wife enjoys it. You know, she has her time to herself, and when I'm over here, I have my time to myself. We traded quantity for quality. You know, always before I started doing this job, we were together a lot, you know, but you can be together and really not be with someone. So now whenever I come home, well, you know, we basically just share our time together for that whole 3-week period. When I go away, then she obviously has her own life that she does, you know, her sports and her meetings and clubs and things like that there, and I have my work, you know. So she has her time, I have my time, and then we have our time. And it's a good time. We don't always talk about what's going on out there, you know. We talk about football, baseball, women, whatever, you know. We have a gymnasium, and that's where I go to get away from it. I go down there and, you know, and I get on the walking machine and I walk, and that's when I let my mind free to walk, you know. I'm really not on the rig then, you know. I'm thinking about other things, you know.
I don't play snooker or pool. I still think they're basically male-type sports. If I want to watch a television, the majority of rigs have only got one television, and I've found that I've got 3 choices. It'll either be sport, blue movies, or cowboy films. And I don't really like sport, and I find blue movies very boring. And I don't like cowboy films, so I really, apart from going to the room and reading, I find that I don't have a lot to do in the evenings. And I sent my curriculum vitae around to all the companies, and suddenly got a phone call saying, we've got you a job offshore. So I thought I would give it a try. When I got off the helicopter and realised that that was me here for 3 weeks, as compared to one night, was quite terrifying. I think that night, if a helicopter had landed, I'd have been back on it. You know, I just wanted to go home. One particular rig was a 4-man cabin I was in, and normally if I'm in, I'll normally share with a male, but the male's in the cabin through the day and I'm in the cabin through the night. But in this particular rig, it was a 4-man cabin with 4 people in it. So through the night, there was another male in the cabin as well. and we both had our alarms set for the same time in the morning. And when the alarms went off, we were both frightened to move. I think it was awkward for me, but it was probably just as awkward for him.
The derrickman is the man responsible for pulling the pipe back up the derrick. Of course, as you know, he works 90 foot in the air. He racks the pipe back, and he is also responsible for working in the pump room and maintaining the rig pumps and the condition of the mud.
The derrick is a hazardous place, and you could actually, if you haven't got your rope tied, you could actually fall off the board. There again, somebody will come up and rescue you, if it's possible. Very hard job in winter. You're suffering all the elements of the weather, snow, rain, hail. You're out there, whether you're tripping, or if you're drilling, you're down the stairs in the pump room looking after the mud system and the pumps. But if you're up in the derrick, it's a different kettle of fish in the winter. It can get really hectic up there, weather-wise. You get used to working up there. You know, you have to have confidence in your belt. There's a suicide line, which I wouldn't use in the very, very last resort. I'd try and get down the derrick, but if I couldn't get down the ladder, there again, the safety goes out the window. When that happens, anything like that, you have an explosion or fire on the rig, especially on down the rig floor area at all.
Far from home, lost in the sea, somewhere on the skyline and nowhere else, like a float, like an anchored boat, like a bottle cast in the sea, standing there still, a sweet black island. Under the stilly palm trees, slapped by the salted breath of wind, rocked by the rhythm of the machine, smooth and spleen, and steeped in the perfume of the black gold. He thinks of nothing, his sweet black island.
I think if you can please majority of people most of the time, everybody's happy. But you always try and put something on the menu that you know somebody will eat. I mean, they have three choices. So there's always something there that somebody will like. Even the vegetarians, we now do a vegetarian dish.
Put some more chips there for me, Mark. Enough? That's fine.
I do different things. I won't keep to the same plan. A lot of people eat differently. Do you like baked or grilled? And I'll do it. Even though it's not on my menu. Say people are dieting, I'll help them to diet. It's, I don't know, I think it's, how can you explain it? Just doing my job. They're working very hard outside. They've got to burn that fat off. They do work very hard up on the drill floor. I think you've noticed that yourself when you were up there.
Mostly what I miss is seeing the kids growing up. I'm home 6 months of the year and I'm away.
You notice that when your children are young, you know, you sort of, you leave to come to work and they're just crawling maybe. And by the time you get home, they're fleeing around the lounge and that on their hands and knees. you go away again, the next time you come on, they're walking. You know, that's only a matter of weeks, but that's the amount that happen in them weeks that you're gone. You know, that is really quick. You're at work for 6 months of the year, so therefore you only see your children for 6 months of the year. And it's amazing how they grow up in, you know, the 6 months. Sort of minor at school, and you just don't realise before you know it, they're sort of 10 and 11 years old.
They eat a lot because they're working a lot up on the drill floor. They burn the energy off. You don't see no fat people up on the drill floor, do you?
How many times a day?
Some of them eat 3 times, sometimes 4 times a day. Plus they have smokos 9 o'clock in the morning and 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And the mess room's always open. I'm sick of the sight of all this Chinese food or this, that and the other, but favourite meal is eggs, chips, and spaghetti or beans or tomatoes.
All right, there, please, lad. Standby boats just come in. Must be somebody working over the side.
I can bug you as well. Throw them in the north.
All your veg ready?
Aye, it's all good. You got no cheese?
We've 12, total 12 of crew. That's 3 deck officers, including myself, 3 engineers, a cook, and 5 seamen. The deck crew, their main function is the rescue craft. The function of this ship is to save lives. That's the main thing, is to save lives. And operate in a safe manner as well. Safe for the crew and safe for the rig crew. I have heard people say it's boring. I think maybe it's the length of time they're away from home. Towards the end of your 4th week, you're beginning to get a wee bit fed up. It's only boring if you want it to be. The majority of people on the standby boats have been at sea more or less all their lives, whereas the rigs, it's different tradesmen. It's a different way of life altogether, I would say. Completely different.
Attention please. There's a man overboard on the port side.
Set there, McLintock. Yes, sir, we have a report of a man overboard.
Man overboard, east side of the rig. Set the copy.
Well, I'm the barge captain here, and I'm responsible for the safety of the people plus the stability of the rig. The function of the standby vessel is, in case somebody falls overboard, to rescue the man or the person as soon as possible. Because in this environment, in the winter time, a man without of protecting clothes cannot survive in the water more than 1 minute, or a 2 minute maximum.
Okay, let's go.
We never know here in the North Sea the weather. It's changing in a couple of hours. We had 4 seasons in one day, and so you have to be prepared all the time. And that's the reason why we always have these drills and check the response from the rescue team, how fast it is. And in the past, we never run over 3 minutes.
Well, how much fuel you took last night on a boat? About 71 tons. 71 tons, we're not full then, no?